My name is Lilias Ahmeira and I'm an international holistic practitioner. It started raining in the afternoon and by 4 or 5 o'clock we realised that the rain was getting a bit interesting and coming up towards the front door, and then suddenly we realised this rain was not stopping. We then started rushing around trying to get anything we could to block up the front door and realised that we had a situation and it was really serious. And then one of my sons says, rushes to me and went, "We've got a problem at the back of the house." But of course, all the water was coming off the land behind us and building up behind the house. I was really worried that the water was going to start flying through the windows and would not hold the amount of water back that was coming down. But mercifully, just as it got to the lip of the windowsills, it all started to subside. All the floors were now coming up because we had wooden parquet flooring. The electrics weren't safe because they were all waterlogged, and people had to come in within hours and say, "We're turning all of your electrics off." Okay, but we've got to eat. I didn't even know what a loss assessor was. This wonderful chap walked down the road and basically introduced himself as a loss assessor. And I went, "Fantastic." And he went, "I'm not with your insurance company." I went, "Well, what are you doing here then?" And he then explained that the role of Morgan Clark. So after about 45 minutes of showing him round, my insurance person arrived. And he was about to say goodbye and he said under his breath, "Do you want me to stick around?" And I went, "Yes," quietly under my breath. And with that, he whipped out his card to my insurance company and said, "Hello, my name is so-and-so and I represent Morgan Clark." And that was the point when I knew I really needed to hire this gentleman, or Morgan Clark, because the look on my insurance lady's face was absolute horror of, oh dear, they've got there first. And it was quite clear that what he was going to bring to the table was going to be an issue for the insurance company, that they were not going to be allowed to get away with anything. And the beautiful thing, which absolutely sealed my hiring them in that first instant, was he immediately started asking questions that in my moment of, shall we say, shock and trauma of what had gone on, I wouldn't have even thought about asking, like, what was I insured for? What was I covered for? What was the immediate relief that could be given for me? What was the immediate help? Where was I going to sleep that night? How about the animals? I wouldn't have even thought about half of those questions, but he had them there immediately, and I went, I need these people in my corner. And so absolutely no reservations at all, had no idea what they did an hour before I employed them, but it was the best decision I ever made. I think the reason I decided to use a loss assessor, at the end of the day, I'm a mother, I run a business, I have an autistic child. I'm not an expert in engineering, decorating, building. I certainly don't understand small print. And what Morgan Clark brought to me was phenomenal. They work, and they went to great lengths to explain, they work for me. So they basically went through all the fine print of my insurance policy. They had all of the negotiations with the insurance company, and they made absolutely certain I got everything that I was entitled to. And there were times when the insurance company said, "Actually, no, I don't think so." And Morgan Clark went, "Well, actually, if you look at the small print here of her contract, she's actually entitled to this." And they went into bat for me on a number of issues, which we won. I didn't have to deal with the insurance company. Pretty much, I had very little to do with them. They dealt with all of that, which meant that I could get on with trying to put my life back together again. The beautiful thing, which I think gives one a great deal more confidence, is that Morgan Clark come in with a set of specialists, with a set of builders who are exemplary in their work, who come in with the standard they do is exceptional. All the certificates are there, and you don't have to worry about rogue builders and somebody doing a dodgy job or anything like that. And that in itself is massive and gives one tremendous amount of peace of mind. As the time went on, they were absolutely my right-hand heroes, because they were there at the drop of a hat whenever anything went wrong, when I was worried about anything. They sorted everything out for me and saved me so much heartache and headaches. No, I couldn't have foreseen the impact they were going to have on my life, and they are absolutely my heroes.